You're listening to the C1D Paintball Podcast.
Hey there, Andrew, C1D Paintball, the C1D Paintball Podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 10. Actually, our 25th episode we've done. We had 15 last season. So, yippee. It's just a number. It's like age. It's a privilege when you get into the higher ones. I welcome this episode. Two co-hosts today, whenever you're listening to this, whatever sets you up properly. I have Mike Nichols.
How's it going?
And I have Connor G.
Yeah, that's me. I'll definitely try to forget what you said about the age thing at first. A little scary to start the pod.
I was almost asleep this time 25 minutes ago, so you have to...
You were asleep 25 minutes ago.
I was asleep. I did some work outside while Connor watched me. No, Connor did some help too. And it was... I am awake and I'm here, and I'm here to talk about the biggest event of the year. My favorite event of the year. The reason that actually made me wake up could only be one thing, and that is the fact that 3 weeks from now, we will be 7:25 when I record this at night. We will be licking our wounds from D-Day, taking it all in. A bunch of new stories we'll have to tell. Tears will flow saying, oh my God, it's going to be another year. But it's always a good one. And we figured we would get together here 3 weeks before the event and just talk about, things you need to know about D-Day. So in particular, if you haven't played D-Day before, or if you've played there and you just want to hear what have we missed out on, or maybe it just gets you itching to go out there and play. Okay, so how about, Mike, I want you to explain what D-Day is, the event, and I believe it is the 12th one, 11th or 12th one, so you wouldn't know that one. It's your second, but explain to the lovely crowd, or the hostile crowd, or the hostilely lovely crowd, what D-Day is.
Well, what D-Day is to me is just a massive, obviously, paintball event with just a ton of good people. As far as I know, there's people that go there all weekend, but as far as I know, there's the two main days, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's a day everyone gets together. There's a lot of mag-fed games and meet and greets and just hanging out, setting up, and get some food. And setting up for Sunday, which is just a massive big game on a field that's too big to explain. But I had a blast. We had a blast on our first year, and we're so excited to get there this year with a little bit of a heads up of what to expect. But being up our first year to second year, I think you guys have a little better explanation of the event itself. But it's huge. If I could put it into one word, I would just say it's huge.
It is D-Day number 5 for Connor, 7EF for us, the 7th Expeditionary Force, so the 7th event C1D goes to. Our very first was this event. Connor, that was just me and you. What do you remember from that first D-Day, that if you were to give somebody maybe a couple of things for them when they look at you, with all that innocence in their eyes, and they say,
Mr. Connor, what should I expect from D-Day 2025 being my first and your 5th?
It'd be something for people to look up to me like I'm an elder. But, it's difficult, too, because I feel like the event itself has changed a lot since the first time we went to it. Especially, in the rules and how it's set up. So it's a little difficult to explain just how much it is. I feel like it's not as intense as it was before. It's still massive scale, but it's nowhere near as much running directly in the sun compared to the first few years that we did. It's a lot more. Yeah, there's still, if you want to run all over the place, you can, but it's nowhere near as gigantic as what it used to be, which I think is good. But I mean, in terms of like advice and describing it to people, I think Mike still nailed it. It's a huge event, a massive battle. And if I had to give like some sort of advice to these new people, is you have to keep in mind that when you're playing at, whether it's Warzone or ASA or Army Globe, right? You're on a team probably of 12 people at the very most. So you make up a 12th of your team. You're a big part of your team. But compared to these big scale events like D-Day, Ultimate Challenge, you have to keep in mind that you're just kind of one cog in this really, really big machine, and you should understand that, yeah, you can maybe make a difference, you and a couple friends, like your squad, but you should know that have your limits and not to maybe go all out as you normally would in a normal day of paintball, because this is just so massive, so intense. So you should realize, you're just one person out of maybe 200 on your side at the time, 300. So you should just kind of know that it's different from the normal type of experience, obviously.
Yeah, big time.
It is the encounters you have, and to the point where, I mean, obviously, I record them, and as I go through it, and I really do enjoy I usually make the videos fairly quickly, going through them, and it's like, oh man, I forgot that. Oh man, I forgot that. So you might, one of the things I like best about it is the drive home. And Connor usually comes up with a couple of guys on Sunday morning. He drives and I'm already there, but I'll talk to him on the phone, or I'll see my phone will start lighting up and some text messages play on I can read them, or my car actually reads them because I have a car from the future. I'm not going to do any more funny voices, but I could have pretended it was a car from the future making a funny voice. But people start reminiscing about stories right away, and as I watch the videos again, you forget about it. I mean, any given day of paintball, if you play 9 or 10 games, of course, you're going to have a few of the games you remember more than others, or you remember I did this and that. There are so many in this, and one of the best comments I've gotten a few times on the D-Day videos are from people that I didn't know, but were caught in it, and they write, man, I forgot that happened. I was with you when this and that happened. And it's, there's just this epic scale to it. And Connor mentioning, you may be doing something instead of being a lone wolf and flanking a guy to take the last 3 guys out on a regular team deathmatch at your local paintball field. It'll be you and a dozen, maybe 100 people, pushing the enemy off of the top of the hill. About a half an hour later, the enemy's going to have it back. But it's that itself can be such a monumental thing. And when you explain it to somebody who hasn't been there, who hasn't done it, and they may go, "Oh yeah, okay." But when you do it, it's a massive rush. Now, I'll just list off some of the things I think those new to D-Day should bring with them, in particular, like supplies. I mean, I'm not talking about, mental state is you should be open-minded. It is a celebration of paintball. There is very little malicious gameplay. I mean, at a big game, Mike, if I would have told you, you might have remembered scoring 4 or 5 hits, and where you said, yes, I got that guy last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you could have hit 20 or 30 because you're shooting in the trees. So you don't know how you did, and you don't necessarily care because it's all about that front line going back and forth. Or, as Connor knows, Connor, I love defensive battles. When the line doesn't move, but I'm on defense, and you're there for 45 minutes. Is that you can make it sound better than me, Connor, but something like that, the defending something, taking something the last minute, is huge. But let's talk about some of the supplies at first that I feel you need to bring if you've never been there. And you guys can kind of elaborate. I wrote down a few basic things here. Bring smoke grenades. And I know there's some more basic things than that, but smoke grenades are great at the regular field. But I know Connor, at one point in last year's event, although you've seen lots of smokes being used, do you remember early in the game you were counting all the smokes as they went on the tree line we were about to push in? Even for a veteran of big games like you, how can you kind of describe that feeling when you're standing in the back amid all that chaos and you see that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, different compared to the normal game, but I think honestly it was more I was surprised that see it, like, I'm trying to think of a good example to compare it to, but I don't know, it's like you're given an item in a video game and you only have one of it. And instead of saving it until like when you're at the end of the boss to like guarantee that you kill it, or like halfway through when you get low on health, it's just immediately using it. So I saw all these smokes right away. I'm like guys, this is epic, but like we could use these for later, no? Like if we're using all of them at the start. But no, it's still awesome to see it like that, because like on a regular field for us, you'll see maybe one or two a day, not in a game. And so to see that many like lobbing in and you see the trails, it was pretty cool. But part of me is like, WTF, like guys, better buy more at the half because we're gonna need them.
Yeah,
you're using them all now.
One
well
of my
stocked
favorite
in
uses of
purple
smoke was when they were doing the airstrikes, and the refs would come in on the four-wheelers and just lob those massive smoke lines.
Yeah.
And we'd have to go back, but then we got to push through them again. I got some really sweet footage of that. That was great.
Yes. That smoke grenade wall, like you said, Connor, it was early in the game, but we were told to go and take the tree line, or at least not give it up. And going in and there doing that was something. I mean, we basically defended there for the next hour and 50 minutes, and it is very impressive. It's something. There's all these WTF moments, as Connor alluded to. Okay, you got to bring yourself a lot of pods. Obviously, you should bring pods. I know some people like go mag fed. It's a challenge out there to do mag fed, but if that's what you're into, man, you play the game the way you want. I'll list off the rest of these, and then we're just kind of go into a general discussion. I do recommend, if you're playing with a group, to bring a walkie-talkie, even if it's just a couple of you. Connor and I, we used it when it was just two of us the first year, mostly because we got separated a few times and we didn't even know the damn field, right? Remember that one?
Yeah.
Bring water. They have water at the field. When you go to the safe zones, bring lots of bottles of water. Connor talked about the heat. The very first D-Day we played at, and the second one actually, were incredibly hot. Bring a lot of water. Bring a chamois. If you say, I don't wear a chamois around your neck, you actually soaking it in water, then putting it back around you for an hour or so I'd recommend that. If your usual get-up is black, switch your get-up.
I was about to mention that. No, like, I feel like even being black, wearing black on that field it's not an advantage too, if you like to do it for an advantage, that you can be in the dark, is that wearing green in the woods is fine. Even a ghillie suit, I think, is a little much too. I've seen a few people out there and they all seem to overheat and they're going for water a lot. There's if you're using first strikes of a ghillie, I feel like you're already so far back that you don't need a ghillie in the first place. And so it's kind of just you're going to be straight in the heat with that on. It's too much. And I'm not saying that just so I can spot you easier. It's But no, it's no, the heat's
I
definitely.
wasn't going for looks in the second half. I ended up switching into tan cargo shorts.
Yeah.
And I think my purple shirt, like I was not going for looks. I was definitely going for comfort and coolness.
Exactly, So I mean, if you normally wear a lot of stuff like that ghillie or the black, I'm not saying you have to dress in bright pink, so we have a better shot at seeing you. But just dress comfortably, so the heat's not much of a factor, for sure.
Bring extra socks. If you have extra boots, bring them. If you're a rec baller, I'm still talking about the feet here, and you normally just wear running shoes, that's okay, but you want to make sure they're in good shape. You're going to be doing a lot of, not necessarily running, but a lot of movement. You're going to be in those shoes, those boots, all day. Extra socks are good. Connor and I went to an event 2 weeks ago where it was a great event, and it poured rain, and there is a couple of little swampy-ish areas. You just don't want to go around with wet feet too much. Knock on wood, the weather's good. Hey, rain or shine, you play the game. And after that event 2 weeks ago, Connor in the rain, it kind of had a fun aspect to it, kind of playing in the rain. So I'm not wishing rain upon it, but bring good stuff for your feet. And if you're driving home, well, everyone's got to drive home after, but especially if you have like a 2.5 hour drive, like I guess the three of us do, you want to make sure maybe you got nice shoes to go into after, nice socks to get after and get into. Pack an extra marker. Not a problem with the C1D guys because they bring a myriad of markers. But here's the deal is if you have a spare marker, you want to use marker A, that's cool. But if you have a problem with it, there are techs there, but depending on what the issue is, you may not be able to get it fixed. There's Tipman techs that fix your stuff for free, unless you need a big part that they happen to have there. But bring a spare marker, so maybe you want to try something different. I mentioned MagFed before. You want to try playing MagFed, that's fine. But I tell you what, if you got a TMC, bring the hopper attachment, just in case. Now, the only other things I was going to mention, as we just kind of break down into a discussion for this podcast, is there is 5 points I wrote down. If you're a lone wolf, if you're playing just with your group of guys, you've never been there before, you play as you want, but it's highly, highly recommended you embrace your teammates, because if you've got 350, 400 of the teammates, it's an experience you only get once a year, maybe twice a year if you're lucky. Communicate with them. Hand signals. You're standing on a tree line, you're looking for something, just kind of go up. I got 2 guys over there. Embrace that, welcome it, show people what to do. I share paint. Some guys, I got to go back, man. I got no shots. Like, we're right on the tree line. And it's like, man, take some of mine. Dump out a pod, half a pod, whatever it is. I had one guy run back and give me a pod after he backed out because I gave him some. Just support each other. Encourage each other. Nice shot. Hey, man, I need some cover fire. When you run up someplace, say, yeah, man, good job. Thanks, I appreciate it. They're going to do it to other people. It makes them involved. It makes your team better. And it gives you those moments that you just can't get on a small field. Connor,
Absolutely.
I want you...
It's like a little chain reaction.
Exactly. I have a couple of things here I want you guys to present. Mike, what was it like? And a lot of people, like myself, their fields don't allow first strikes. And a first strike is intended for something like this, a big game. But I want you to tell me what it was like last year when you're there and somebody calls out there's a first strike sniper. What does that do to you psychologically and for your pulse?
Well, that's the last thing I want to hear when I'm trying to do like a push or anything. That's the last thing you want to hear, somebody let you know that. Thankfully, I don't know if I actually got hit by any. I was not really in that position. But yeah, you definitely want to hunker down and get away from get away from those for sure. I mean, some of those guys with those bolt action first strikes can hit you from so far away, and like they're gonna hit if you just got some little body part poking out or something. They're gonna hit it. So definitely get the cover. I mean, it's not something you want to get hit by particularly.
And by the way, Commando Action does an excellent job because when it comes to using first strikes, there's a limited amount of people on each side. And there are, yeah, exactly. There's specific rules, special armband. You fire first strikes, you haven't got an armband, you are no longer in the game, and I have no problem with that. The other thing I specifically had out here, and it's why I'm presenting it to Connor, there are medics. 3 medics per side this year. And I'm going to ask Connor here, not quite put him on the spot because he's usually pretty good with these things. Maybe a 101 tip on how to work, since this will be his 3rd D-Day in a row being a medic. But before I let him go at that, I'm going to say a medic to me is the most important part of your team. And a team that uses their medic or medics properly, that has them engaged, is going to do well. And it's not necessarily about doing well. It's about being competitive, using it properly, using that feature. So Connor, as a veteran medic, what are, how would you explain your role? And how would you say, if somebody walked up to you before the game started and say, okay, I've never played with a medic before, what do I do? Just explain your role. And I think sometimes medics get downplayed. So I want you to maybe back up that thing where I mentioned that medic is one of the most important people on the field, especially if you want to do well.
I mean, difficult because it's every single year too I've been doing it, it's been drastically different rules too. And so it's difficult to explain how I should tell people how to interact with me. It's something I kind of wish that the management of the event kind of made more clear are the rules for medics, is I feel like I'll have guys coming up to me after the game, they're calling me a cheater and stuff and whatever, because the rules aren't very clear. But so what I'm going to say now is what I consider to be standard, that when you're dead, I have to come to you. Because last year, apparently people could come to me.
They could.
And
we only found out a little bit into the game.
And so people were calling me a cheater, then other people were whatever, so yeah. But I mean, assuming that I have to come to you, there's a few things you should consider about it, I guess, is a little list. I'm not going to make numbers because I might forget it. So what you should start with is when you're dead, you look around and you call for a medic. And if you don't see one, it doesn't mean you should get up and that you're like dead. You call it out that you're dead and you need a medic, and the people behind you should also look if there's a medic. And then they should try to flag down a medic. It's like, hey, I need a medic. The medic comes to them. It's like, okay, where do you need me? I need you there. There's a guy that's dead.
Yep.
But then there's also some other things too. I've had times where somebody's just dead, like literally in the like worst spot ever. Even when I say like I am not coming.
Mike's
for
holding
you,
up his hand for those of you listening on Spotify. Sorry about that.
On the front line in the first 5 minutes, please, Connor, come get me.
Well, no, that's not bad though. That I remember that spot wasn't bad, but like some spots, it's like somebody's up alone in the very front, and they're 4 covers above everybody, the rest of the team, and then they're yelling at me like, "Come get me, come get me." Dude, I'm not coming to get you. If I die, I'm dead for 15 minutes. It's not worth it to get you possibly. And even if I get you, I'm stuck there and I have to run back. It's impossible. Yeah. So I guess you got to consider, right? Obviously, is there a medic around? 2, are you savable? And I guess another part for 3 would be, is your team around there to support you? So, like, even if the run is safe for me to come get you, it's impossible to do if I'm just kind of running without any sort of cover, especially if it's a long run. And so I'm not saying you have to empty a whole pod for me, but, like, you know, it's difficult when, yeah, I mean, when nobody's shooting. But no, a big thing to reiterate that you said before was the whole, you know, communication and getting together. You know, obviously we're just one large team. It's impossible to get to know everybody, you know, personally and whatever, but that doesn't mean that we can all be friendly to one another and cooperate. And so every single D-Day I've played in, whether I'm medic or not, I think people only realize at the end of the day they get used to medics. And in that first half, I feel useless, that people don't know how to communicate. It's like, wait, we have medics? They don't know that there's medics. People don't know how to get me up to them. They don't understand the rules I mentioned, not the rules, like the guidelines. They only figure that out towards the end of the day. By the end of the day, I'm already too tired. I'm running all day before then, trying to save people in difficult spots. So,
Yeah.
just for people to try to work as a team. And so when I say as a team, that's like, you know, people outside of who you know and the medics.
It's huge.
Medic sees more action and is usually aware of the situation in, I'm going to say, in the sector, the different sectors you're in. Obviously, the field's chopped into different sections. I'll call it sectors. So, in my opinion, medic understands the battlefield and what's going on better than most. Outside the general and big games, a lot of generals just kind of sit back, and that's fine to let them go. We were privileged in the last 2 D-Days in a row to play with Tonk as our general, who is very active. So he'll radio in and ask us to do something, and we'll help him if we can. And then last year at one point he came up and he's saying, I need you guys to go here in the village. He says, no, we're going to hold Bear Hill because there was 3 slapsticks there. All right, cool. We held on to it, so we talked with them. But yeah, medic is like a general in the field. They see a lot of things. If a medic asks for cover, especially if an experienced medic like Connor, he knows not to go for that lone guy up there. But if he asks for cover, listen to him, because he could be getting your buddy. He could be getting you. And cover fire for a medic like that, there's a badassery aspect to it. But it's just the little things. And if you've watched, if you want to watch probably last year's medic video, the very first 5th Expeditionary Force Part 1, you'll see how much running he does in the front lines and that. So you're making life easier on him. And one thing about that one, by the way, is I remember one guy, didn't know you, Connor, but he's an experienced player on our team. And he goes, protect the medic. This guy and the same guy, maybe 5 minutes later, he goes, you're too far up, dude. We're not sending the medic in. Protect the medic. Connor will hide behind guys. And it's kind of good. You're obligated. You're the meat shield. Want to be upset because the medic's hiding behind me? Why? If I get shot, I got the medic there. So, so medic is a big part of it. But I mean, it's everybody. It's when you do get hit in the head or when your time runs out and you're walking back to spawn. You know, you just kind of fist pump a guy, you know. Don't tell him what's going on behind you. It's so tempting. Dead men talk to a degree in big games. They'll encourage you. You can say things like, boy, I can't wait to get back to that section behind me as soon as I respawn. But no.
Yeah.
It's meeting people, just saying all kinds of stuff. I get to do so many dad jokes, so much editing because I repeat them throughout the day for the videos. There's basically a role for everyone on the field, but the one role you can't forget is a teammate there. And I know you can be there, go out there and be a lone wolf. That's cool. Is it? Last year, kill hit and T hit were kind of lone wolfing it, and
we all gathered on the line to run up the thing, and he was there too. And then all of a sudden, they went this way, and we all went this way.
But I saw his footage he recorded. He did well. So Mike, going into your second D-Day. What are you looking forward to the most? Just this time out. I mean, I won't influence you by giving you examples.
Yeah, kind of. It was actually going off of what you said. I mean, the interactions that you have on the field, the unexpected ones, the ones that just happen like that. Like you could be doing something or doing your own thing, and someone comes up to you and asks you, "Hey, cover me," or "Hey, can you do this?" or "Help me out." And just the little interactions really made it for an awesome day when they all accumulate and you start thinking about them. So I'm really looking forward to just getting out there, working with the team and just doing cool things. I mean, we had so many cool, little moves, little parts of the teams. We had so many good plays that day. But I don't think there's any one thing I'm particularly looking forward to. It's just the whole weekend accumulated. Every year I think it's going to get better. Because we're getting bigger and we're doing stuff like this, the podcast, and planning, getting people excited and amped up, and getting all the camping gear together and stuff. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to everything. Not much I'm not looking forward to.
Connor, the veteran, going into number 5 for Commando Action D-Day for you.
I mean, I don't know, it's definitely my favorite time to play. It's, everybody comes out for it, so it's so nice to see everybody play together, all on the same side too. Obviously when we're playing at a war zone, we're all playing together, and we're not enemies because we're on other teams, right? But we're not all playing as one unit. So I really like getting to see everybody work together, even if I'm maybe not working with them, because I'm running off doing my own thing as a medic. No, I get to see your footage after Mike's too, and hear everybody's stories about everything. It's really fun time to hear. And I'm just hoping for this year though, for them to patch up any holes on the field. I was tripping last year. There's a little tree root or something, and I trip over it.
Was it 2 years ago, your first as a medic, you're running in at the start of the game, and what happens not maybe 20 seconds into your run as you're at the bonnet, you're about to go up Hamburger Hill.
Yeah, I ate shit. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. He hit a divot, he tumbled, and he rolled on his shoulder, and me behind him, it's I wonder where the closest clinic is around here. This may be...
You're so fast. You're so fast, though. I put race car sounds on my videos when I have you running around. I put little wheels screeching and stuff.
I remember
you're
that.
So fast.
Yeah. No, the woods is the big problem to run around in with all the little rocks and stuff. So hopefully
I'm looking forward this year in battling in the woods, because there was no good woods battle last year. It's just how the flow of the game was. I don't know if they're putting there you go, a Lightning McQueen. Trent puts a little image in the chat just for Connor there. It's about par for the course. We didn't. I'm not sure if they're putting a flag in there this year, but I can't see going 2 D-Days without a major battle in the woods. And so even the guys who played last year was about 7 or 8 guys their first D-Day with us last year, maybe even more than that. And it's my favorite type of battle. It's not, I understand it's not everybody's, but woods ball isn't for everybody. But at that level, Warzone, we have a little woods ball area, and I think we might have a 4-on-4 is the most that we ever get in there. And you're going to have multiply that by 20, 80 guys on each side. And I'm looking forward to that. I wrote I'm appealing to everybody. Be there on time. The first half, when it starts, be there for that initial rush. And I know things happen because you haven't got your stuff ready and that, but if you can be there, be there. The rush of running in, of seeing everybody. Last year when you looked at the video, and it looks like there's 250 people there. We actually had closer to 400 on our side apparently, but not everybody's able to get there. If you can do that, remember at the half when you restart, do the same thing again. Get in there and just get ready, because everybody feeds off it. and
Yeah.
pace yourself.
Big time.
Yeah. Connor, we had 2 D-Days in a row where we were destroyed. We were just the first 45 minutes to an hour, we were pinned basically to our spawn. We didn't give up all day. Last year, our side did very well. At times we dominated. At times they had us on our heels, but overall we kind of dominated them. And towards the end of the second half, there weren't as many people left on the field. And I get that. It's a long game and all that, but try to pace yourself to make every minute happen, because as we found out last year, one of the highlights of the entire day was a rush we did literally as time was expiring. Literally where we took the hill and then the gun sounded off and the game ended. So, be on time, play it through if you can, but pace yourself. Gather, I forgot to mention this before, gather intel constantly. If you're not chatty, just say something. You hear people talking, organizing, we're going to go through the forest and hit him on the road by the woods. By the swamp area. If the guy, and if it's like, no, there's 3 guys there, just mention it to them. Get them involved. It's just little things. Pace yourself, enjoy it. If you're pinned down and you're kind of like for half an hour, change your position. Get some people to join up. Take it as a challenge. Yeah.
You can start little units. You can start little units of like 2-3 people to go do something, and then all of a sudden, within like 5 minutes, you've made it to your destination. You turn around, there's like 30 people with you, and you've turned into this mini squadron about to go take over, something. It's pretty cool how it works out.
Actually, Thomas did that when I saw his footage a couple of years ago. He would go in the front line. 2 other guys are behind the barrier, and they're his buddies for 10-15 minutes. And under fire, they're yelling and doing this with the pods. I see this here, and you see the bad language and missed shots. That's the scene, Connor, where Thomas reaches out. He screams medic. He reaches out. You see his hand go out, and you kind of dive. You slap him, and you run back. It's it's things like that. Look, we were at an airsoft event 2 weeks ago, and it was a big game style, and I had fun, but I prefer paintball. But it's just that feeling that there's so many people everywhere. You have to work together, but it's so daunting. And but when you do, we had that little assault on the road where we coordinated. We're not real soldiers, and I always want to make sure that paintball and airsoft don't depict themselves as that. We're just paintball. We're airsoft players, whatever we are. You can have a uniform. We got ourselves. Look at these beautiful uniforms behind me. If you're watching on YouTube, so I always say, look good, not necessarily play good. But I mean, just take it for what it is. I'm out here to do whatever. And if you plan something, you get really close, and you're doing it and it happens at the big game for 35 minutes. And just as you're about to go in, some guy pegs you off the head. Connor ain't reviving you. It's like, you have to go back and try again, man. And there's a good chance you won't even see who the hell got you.
Yeah, you normally don't.
You normally don't.
Especially on the beach with the first strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere is open.
Yeah. The beach is a sexy area. And it is an important area, but it's there's so much to the field. It is a sexy area. It's a good photo op, as I like to say, because
if you were playing on the beach, would you rather be coming from that closest spawn or out of the woods towards it? Like if you were in a battle there, which side would you rather be on?
Going up, I'd rather spawn on Hamburger Hillside and be shooting down on the beach. I'd rather be taking the beach from high ground.
Yeah.
I mean, Connor,
I had much better luck from that side. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anybody sweep through that area. I'm sure it's happened at times. If there's not, usually it's if the numbers are off by one side. you sweep somebody, it is getting deep into the first half or second half, and you may see openings there. But at the end of the day, they're somewhere else. Plus, the beach is just south of the main town. And even if you're coming from the lower side of the beach and you're going up Hamburger Hill, you can have the whole beach to yourself. But at Hamburger Hill, there can be 15, 20 guys lying prone. And with the hill up there and the height advantage rather, the hill and the cover, you don't need a first strike round to snipe people from there. And there are people that love to go prone all day and snipe, whether it's a first strike or not. And that's where they should go.
Gotta aim a little higher, that's all.
Yeah, just aim a little higher. Somebody did ask me about speedballers at the event. Every type of player is effective here. I like to call speedballers artillery. You get 2 or 3. Well, Connor, look at even an Operation Rush, which was not a big game, but kind of a mini-ish big game. You followed around 2 or 3 guys on a couple of occasions, speedballers, and you had the shield. And they're vulnerable because they tend to run in and make themselves vulnerable, and they got that high firepower. It's funny because we're primarily a mag-fed group, but speedballers have their place in this game, and you make them welcome because some people, there are mag-fed people or guys that do milsim. The only time they interact with speedballers are at a big game. They're artillery. They are the special guys out there, and you're going to face them, and you got them on your team, and you use them. That's where Michelangelo on our squad, he plays, I guess, semi-pro. He plays competitively, speedball. He's a hell of a guy too. When he seems to have good temperament. I haven't seen him mad at the field yet. I would hate to see him mad, but when you see him on D-Day, that kid knows how to use his marker. He's a machine, and there's nothing like seeing the shots ring out, just shred the trees in front of you coming at you, and you die behind cover. And if you're playing in a regular game at your home field, that's me. You can swear, or you can say, "What am I going to do in that?" For myself personally, that happens in a big game. If I'm scouting an area and that happens, my heart's pumping, and I tell myself, "This is why I'm here." There's room for everybody. They're an even part of the team, and you never know what's going to happen.
There's something about the sound of like 10 speedballers behind you, though, just like in the middle of one of those big games, it really gets your blood pumping. Like,
oh, absolutely.
As long as they're going the opposite direction.
I mean, if it's coming that way too, it still gets your blood pumping, but more in a anxiety way, right?
Yeah, yeah. More and I better hide my ass somewhere.
Yeah.
Look, there's lots of things at the game. There is a MagFed only game and a couple of there's I think an eCeleb style game that they have like on the Saturday. I mostly socialize, but as I mentioned before, it's a celebration of paintball. I pace myself for the next day because it is quite a day. Really not much more to talk about for this podcast. I'll let you guys do one thing each as we sign off. But anybody who happens to actually be listening in the next 3 weeks and you don't have a squad to run with on D-Day, if you're on the Axis side, you just want to go out there, have fun. You're not somebody that's going to get anybody into trouble. You don't wipe. You're a good person that just wants to go have fun. You see a C1D jersey and you're on our side, come join us, have some fun. And if you got us in your sights, hey, bring it on. That's why we're there, man. Connor, any parting words on D-Day? And we probably are gonna have one more episode of this before another podcast before the event. But in case we don't, what would you like to do to maybe say to get the blood pumping for those veterans or noobs going into this 2025 event?
I mean, I don't know if this gets the blood pumping for them, but it's definitely to be, like you kind of said, to wrap it all up. I think it's to just be super inclusive and cooperative with the whole team. This event's going to be, it's what you make of it. is that if you aren't going to cooperate with your team and you're going to be doing a bunch of whatever stuff on your own and you're not going to really want to, you don't have to follow orders specifically, but if you don't want to cooperate with your team, you're not going to have a positive experience whether you win or lose, right? We're just playing for fun, but really, like, get in there at the start for that run-in. It's probably it's weird, you're just running in or jogging in. It's probably my favorite moment of the entire day.
Unquestionably.
It's awesome. Because I've missed some at some events, and it's terrible to miss that charge.
Exactly. I don't know, be there for that, and, not even just with C1D, but if you see another squad of people, don't be afraid to go in there and pretend like you belong, because you do. You're part of the team, so let's work as a team. I don't think anybody is going to say, no, you can't play with us, you're not cool enough or whatever, we don't want you, Right? It's going to be so chaotic that you can kind of just slip into a group and assimilate, and nobody's going to yell at you or whatever or think you're weird. So, just play as a group. Try to make some friends, even if you don't remember their name or know their name for the entire day. It's like, hey, it's the guy, the Homer Simpson Hawaii donut shirts or something.
The Slutty Nun. The
Slutty Nun.
Exactly. Yeah,
Trent's in the audience right now, and he joined us for Operation Rush. Connor, sorry about that.
Yeah.
No, it's just like, just try to have fun. And not just like in a way to win, but just as a team. So be there for your teammates, be supportive. You don't have to be super crazy, and okay, I'm Mr. Nice Guy today, I'm going to give you all my ammo and stuff. Just be there for your team, whether you're directly helping or just being there. So, yeah.
We got enough crazy guys on C1D. We could use more, but you don't necessarily have to be crazy. Speaking of crazy, how about your parting thoughts there, Mike?
Well, not much. I mean, just whether, like you said, whether it's your first time coming out, whether it's your first time wanting to go paintballing and somebody invited you to D-Day or something and you've never been, or it's you've been paintballing for 20 years, it doesn't matter, just come have a good time, come with an open mind. Like, you're going to have a good time there. It's impossible not to. Like, whether it's just the Saturday socializing or the Sunday, the massive games and all the crazy stuff that's going to go down, it's like it's going to be a good day. Get there, have fun, be part of the community. It's just so much positive that can come out of it. And when everyone gets together at the end, well, at the beginning for the rally and at the end for the closing ceremonies and stuff, it's just so cool to see everyone drenched in sweat, defeated or winning. They're all just standing there fist bumping and stuff. It's such a good feeling. Just get there. You're not going to be mad about it. Come with an open mind. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Look, last year was the first time we actually won on D-Day. We had lost the first 3. And there are a lot of reasons why. I think each year, Connor alluded to it, just gets better. Last year was my favorite. It's not because we won. We had a huge group out of C1D. And you see people as the event, it's their, well, I believe, like I said, their 11th or 12th one. Everyone's buying into it more each year. They all mesh together. It's that camaraderie. Like Connor said, I mean, you can play any style you want, but don't deny yourself the feeling of being part of an army out there where, you just smile on that. If you lose a close firefight, so be it, because you're going to have a lot during that day. Try to get yourself involved, make the most of it, go out there, have fun, because look at that. I set myself up for the outro. At the end of the day, it's a very big game. It's maybe the best game of the year, but it is just a game. Thanks for listening. Remember, subscribe. Just get a reminder when these come out. Maybe it'll occupy your day and put a smile on your face the way that me, Mike, and Connor are smiling like the Cheshire Cat thinking of D-Day. And you know what? We hope to see you there. Thanks.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like us, rate us, and tell everybody about us. Thanks for listening.